consider myself a warrior by nature. But I mean, you know, you have to think about it in most of the conversations that are happening in the state, women are the minority, and especially women of color. I'm in the Senate, and in the Senate we have 7 women out of 33. And out of those 33, 3 of them are black, and they just happen to be women. And so I'm always gonna be a warrior.
She's a winner. She's a single mom, 2 kids, and she decided, after identifying that there was a shortage of nurses in this area, she just writes a grant and she starts her own nursing school. And she didn't just do it, she's successful. She doesn't see a stop sign in front of her.
You can't have reproductive justice without talking about socioeconomic justice or talking about racial equity. You have to think about what's available to the people that I represent. And I represent a district that is highly underserved, even in the medical community specifically. And so that played a big part in it because I wanted to make sure that we had our piece of the pie as it relates to being able to have access to the same things that someone across town would have access to.
I met Katrina Robinson while serving in the state Senate, and I found her to be quite a talent with a whole lot of potential. She was running against an incumbent, and an entrenched incumbent with lots of money and had been there for a while. Sarah Kyle endorsed Katrina Robinson, and not long after that, I endorsed Katrina Robinson. And then the whole Democratic establishment at that point came in and supported Katrina Robinson. Even with all that, even with the broad coalition that she built, it was a really, really tough race. But she never stopped working, and she never lost faith. And then she showed a lot of passion and even joy while she ran.
She's a working lawmaker. She acts like, and she presents herself like she's a veteran.
Right now, we just finished a special summer study on the fetal heartbeat bill, where we have a legislator who is attempting to enact one of the strictest abortion bans in the country. I think that is really the issue that's at the top of everyone's mind right now because it is so critical. It affects so many women, especially in my district.
Prior to the hearing, we kind of prepped her on what the opposition was going to say. She looked at me and she said, "You're the lobbyist. Why don't you give me the questions that you think that we need to get on the record?" Yes, Senator Robinson was literally coaching the message out from the presenters who had no idea this was going to happen.
So the mother who has charged to make the decisions for not only herself but for her child, does she have a say-so in her plan of care when you treat her?
With the care that I provide, yes. Mm-hmm. I don't provide abortions, so if she asks me for that, I will decline.
So if she were to go to another doctor who did provide abortions or who was okay with terminating her pregnancy, would she not be included in her plan of care?
Yes, in the current situation.
So it ultimately is up to the patient in any situation or any diagnosis to be included in their plan of care and make decisions for their body, correct?
The idea that a freshman senator wanted to be that prepared and could see what our end game was, that's pretty cool.
I think it's my responsibility to be kind of like the thermostat in the conversation, just to make sure that the public has on record what's accurate and what's fact and what's at stake. And a lot of times we get caught up into these ideological conversations that are fantasy in some people's minds, and they think that this is an argument that should supersede anything that has to do with the reality of people that actually depend on this type of care.
She doesn't let that oppressive, ultra-conservative, pseudo-Christian thing rattle her. And I think it's frustrating for the other side too.
I told her it'd be very tough to pass a single bill as a Democratic legislator in the minority because the numbers are so lopsided. And I think she passed 3 or 4 this time around. And so that is really, really tough to do. I worked in Nashville. I know how tough the work is there. And Katrina Robinson is making a difference.
So I think it's important that we stay vocal, we stay vigilant about making sure that our rights are protected and that people know what's going on, because there are people that are not privy to these conversations, and one day they're going to wake up and they're not going to be able to go to the doctor to get the things that they need. And so it's our responsibility as those who are aware and those who are conscious of what's going on to make sure that we educate those around us so that we build an even bigger coalition.
We're going to kick their ass. We are.